Hello, LinkedIn. Good evening, Facebook. Good evening, YouTube. So we are live here at the Business Plugs Mixer, and we are going to have a fun time learning about this young lady who has found her voice. Before I allow her to introduce herself, I want to tell you about an event I have coming up Tuesday. So, if you are a small business, a for profit business, and you are interested in finding out how to get grants, how to get grant money, how to apply, and where they are, then on Tuesday, I'm hosting a class. It's a two-part class, right? So, the first part, I'm actually a guest of Launch Chattanooga. I will be doing an hour presentation with them. So you'll join me there with Launch Chattanooga. And then we'll split off and go on to Zoom. And in Zoom, I'm going to answer all your questions. I'm going to make sure that before the night is over, not only do you know what to say, you're going to know where to say it. So I'm going to show you based on your business type where you can find available funding. And right now, this is the second month of the year that funding has been made available, right? January was kind of slow. So February, the big corporations started giving grant money. I had two of my clients to get grants this in February. I'm trying to get more clients to get grants in March. So that's where we are. So that's Tuesday, and I will put a link in this broadcast after we're finished. But at this time, and I hope I don't mess up her name, Lord. Please don't let me miss her name. I hope I don't mess her name up. This is Liku.
Mm-hmm.
This is Liku, and she is going to tell you, she's going to introduce herself. And so please introduce yourself, ma'am.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. My name is Liku Amadi, founder and attorney of Anasa Law Firm, where I work with coaches and consultants to establish a solid legal foundation for business through custom contracts. And I am happy to be here.
And my following is entrepreneurs. And so in that
Perfect.
following, I know in that following, I have coaches and consultants who are on board here. So whether you see this in the live setting or you watch it in the replay, I want you to reach out to her and let her know you saw this and lean in close and get some notes. Go get something to write on and something to write with so you can make some notes of this conversation and then how to
Yes.
follow up and contact her after we're done. So at this point, oh, and also if you're on anywhere, make sure you click the notifications. So every time I do the Business Plug Mixer, you'll get the message that we're on and you'll join us. So at this point, we're going to talk about how did this journey begin? Like, tell us about the
Ooh.
beginning.
I feel like it's a novel, but yeah, let's get into it then, right? So the beginning, I am a first generation Tanzanian, born and raised in the Bay Area. Always done very well in school, strict, disciplined upbringing, right? Graduated from law school in 2017, started practicing in 2018, and I worked for two firms. The last one being a much larger nationwide firm where I practiced employment law and a little bit of business law. And that started at the height of the pandemic. So when we first out here in California, when we first got the shutdown notice from the governor, that was my first week on the job. So I barely got to get in and decorate my office. We were virtual from the jump. And I loved the firm. I loved the people that I was working with. I loved the experience that I was getting. It, but it was taking away from my quality of life. Right. It
Mm.
was taking too much time. And in the middle of COVID, I didn't have anything else to do but roll out of bed and hop onto my laptop and check my emails. And so thinking long term, I did not want my quality of life to suffer
I
once
heard
I
you.
got back in the office and, continue to work those crazy hours. So I wanted to do my own thing. I said, this is the only way where I can protect my mental health, which was suffering. So I made the decision to do that last year, 2021, March 2021. So we're
I
about
like
a year in now.
happy
Hey,
birthday.
thank you. And I
Happy
mean, now it's been amazing. I got pregnant last year as well. So I quit my job while I was pregnant, which was a little bit of a scary thing, but I feel very empowered, building my own business and serving business owners in the way that I see fit, people who look like me, women, moms. And it's been a great experience in this first year.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And how I found you, let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
that was a post. That was a post. So let's talk about where you were when you posted that and what the post said.
Yeah. So, this business ownership thing, man, it is not for the faint of heart. There's a lot of coming out of my shell and finding myself that I had to do, that I'm still having to do. I thought I was an outgoing person, but this just requires another level of you, right? And I realized facilitating multiple workshops and events that I really like to speak. I really like to teach. I
Mm,
enjoy doing that, giving legal information in a way that people can understand so they know what they're getting and why they need it. So I made a post on LinkedIn and I basically said, look, somebody told me I was a good speaker, so I'm leaning all the way in. If you want to guest for your podcast, for facilitation, we can collaborate. Let me know. And I kind of just put myself out there.
yes, you did.
And people responded. It was a little bit of a scary thing, but when people started to respond, I was like, okay, okay, it works. So a closed
Exactly.
mouth don't get fed. And, I'm just out here trying to get fed.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is you went all the way out. I mean, and I thought, I have to have her on the show because first of all, it sounded like you were stepping outside of your paradigm. Like it sounded like you had went, and I know that's where our success lies, right? I've been doing what I do for over 30 years, but I've been doing it
Wow.
for 9 years as a business, as a legitimate business. And
Hmm.
so, and I'm a March business too. March 4th was my ninth
Hey.
anniversary. Absolutely. And so I know that anytime you put yourself out there, like there are risks, right?
Yeah,
Because it can go
absolutely.
one way or it can go the other.
Mhm.
But the fact that you had the audacity, ma'am, to ask for what you want in this world right here, it drew me. And I said, oh, I have to get her on. I have to get her to come and spread that energy because people need that. And
Mhm.
so for you doing that, because before then you did some speaking, but not on the level with strangers out in the world,
Right.
out in the world of LinkedIn.
That's
so
absolutely right.
so yeah, so talk about that. So talk about the repercussions or the results of you making that post.
Yeah, so I posted that on LinkedIn and also a few groups that I'm in on Facebook, right? Just trying
Hmm.
to lean into my community, lean into my network, and see what comes of that. So I've had the opportunity to connect with a lot of people, not just for speaking and podcast purposes, but to build relationships and practice my craft, see how I can fine tune it. I've gotten a lot of tips, right, and feedback, and that's really helpful too as a recovering perfectionist, right? To get that feedback and see how I can apply it to the future. I've been more comfortable being myself and not feeling like I have to subscribe to this image of what a lawyer is supposed to look like or sound like, right? So there's been all of these benefits for me.
I love it. I love it. There's benefits in the purpose, right? Because
Mhm.
this is what you were training for. I mean, this is what all the
Exactly.
dollars and all the years of schooling and all of the stuff that you've went through. Now that
Mhm.
you are mastering creating your own law firm. So let's talk about what does that look like in the future down the road.
Ooh, that is a great question. Building my law firm and having my child, he is 6 months now. He is the cutest thing ever.
I'm sure.
But doing that has really made me realize how flexible I need to be. I'm a
Hmm.
structured person. I like planning, I like organization, I have a lot of foresight. But I'm very open to what having my own law firm looks like. Right now, what it looks like is me delivering services, specifically custom contract drafting for coaches, consultants, and service providers, but also building out a facilitation arm where I come into different cohorts and incubators and again teach the importance and the strategy behind contracts and other basic legal principles. So in the future, I see me doing a lot more of the teaching, but definitely still more of the service, still some of the service work as well, and getting into other collaborations where I can use my legal expertise to help others who may otherwise not have access to someone like me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so when you talk about that and talk about the people who would be your ideal client. Like if you think about your avatar,
Hmm.
what is he or she doing right now that they should hear you and be attracted to check you out?
Ooh, you put me on the spot.
No,
Okay.
you know that. You
No,
know
I'm just kidding.
I told you, I
So
promised you I wouldn't do that. So don't let me do
listen, that's
that.
okay. I'm here for it, right? You live and you learn. So, what they would be doing right now is, working on their business. It's a Sunday, right? They're probably trying to relax, but they still have a few things that they want to do on their to do list. So, they're researching, they're learning on Instagram, podcasts, LinkedIn, where they see me and they hear me speak and they want to reach out and take action. They're inspired to take action because they want to learn the what and the why behind the legal parts of their business because they're feeling kind of stuck and they know there's something that they need to do, but they're the CEO, they're the visionary. I'm the lawyer, I'm the expert. So they would want to reach out to me and see how I can help them stay in their CEO and visionary lane.
Absolutely. And because in your ideal clients, the ones who are consultant, who are
Mhm.
coaches, who are service-based businesses, like the majority of them are just doing the work, right? They want
Mhm.
to sell something. And so they're just doing the work. But in that, what they'll run into is customers who won't pay.
Hmm.
They'll run into customers who won't live up to the understanding because the
Right.
verbal agreement is one thing, but the written
Mhm.
agreement is something very different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I love to teach, right? So, first of all, the verbal, there shouldn't be any verbal agreement, right? We need to have everything in writing. Verbal is very casual and we're human, right? We make mistakes, we make assumptions, we misinterpret things. So, the best practice, especially when you're providing professional services to someone, when you're facilitating your business, is to have a contract in place, whether that's a client, a customer, a contractor, anyone you have a business relationship with, should that relationship should be governed by a custom contract. And I say custom because contract templates are really popular right now. And they're a little bit cheaper than working with the lawyer, sometimes a lot cheaper, or you can easily just download something off Google. But the drawback for that is it's not custom tailored to your business, to your operations, to your needs, to the boundaries that you want to facilitate with these contractors, customers, and clients, right? So I love to educate on the what and the why behind the custom contracts because they're critical to keeping our business operations intact.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here's what thing and Gerald, so Gerald Cunningham, him and his wife Patrice are friends, and how Gerald got hired is because he happened to see a contract that was laying on a copier somewhere that belonged to Steve, and he realized that Steve was being cheated
Oh,
and millions. And so Gerald,
oh.
being a contract guy, um,
Mhm.
showed Steve very succinctly how he could get him into the millions with a contract. I mean, it's that
Yeah.
important. We don't think
Mhm.
about it, and a lot of new first time business owners don't
Yes.
think about it. Like I see these businesses who are rendering, especially those you said service based business, and you said coaches and consultants. And a lot of times those are the ones that don't feel like they need it, right? I don't have a product,
Mm,
so why do I need a contract? And they don't realize, like, if you said something, or if you know, you coached and you said you should go and do A because it will bring you B, and then they go and do A and it doesn't bring them B, it actually sends them to straight to F, then you know, that is a problem. You know, that is a
mhm.
problem. And so contracts control that relationship and how that
Yes.
outcome would be.
Yes, I love the word control because that's exactly what I try to teach my clients. Like, you want to control the dynamics of your client relationship, and having a contract that's drafted to your liking, drafted to your needs, helps you control those dynamics so that when you do go and tell someone something and it comes back and, it doesn't work, or they go from B to F to Z, whatever the case is, you've already covered your bases in a way that that client shouldn't be surprised.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, who are who are service based, because a lot of times I'm a service based business, and a lot of times being a
Mhm.
service based business, we think that when people teach business, they mostly teach for people who have products. And so
Mm.
service-based business feel like we're left out because some of the things that work with products are pretty standard. But when
Right.
it comes to services, we have variables, you know, and
Hmm.
so that's why customization would be optimal for us, because it would fit those different variables that we have in our business models. So yeah, I like
Absolutely.
that. I absolutely like that. And so 2017, the year that you were graduating college, I was graduating college too. I got my master's in
Yes,
2017. So yeah, we have a lot of things in common
we
here.
do.
We do. And so when you think about, like, so you practice law for the state of California, right? How does that
Not
work? So,
necessarily.
so
So
tell me
I'm
how that works.
I'm licensed in the state of California, which means that I practice California law.
Mm-hmm.
So I serve California business owners.
Okay.
If I wanted to serve, let's say, like Massachusetts or Texas business owners, I would likely need to be licensed in those states as well. So that's how, generally, that's how licensure works in the law.
Okay. 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 And so that's very important. So, but the thing about it is, I remember um, Johnny Cochran.
Ah, okay, okay.
I remember Johnny Cochran, and I remember right before he got sick and right before he died, he actually had did a national thing where you could contact him and his co-people,
Mhm.
with any question in any state in the whole of the United States. And so my vision for you, ma'am, is that your future looks exactly like that model that he had first
Yes.
introduced, so that you can have people like I have Amanda. I hope you're watching. Amanda Jelks is I'm in Tennessee, and Amanda
Mhm.
is my go-to here in Tennessee, of owns Jelks Law, and I think she's in year 6. And so,
Mhm.
very very astute young lady. But I think that there's a community for you guys to develop, to in
Absolutely.
every state, all 50 states, because what you all are doing is highly needed in our community, in that a lot of business owners don't think about the legal ramifications. And one of the things I teach is are at least 3 people you need to have. I don't care if you're selling staplers or if you're selling go-go carts. There are 3 people you need on your team, and one
Mhm.
being a lawyer, an
Mhm.
accountant, and someone who's good at marketing. Those three
Right.
people your business can't do without. And so
Right.
you need a legal advisor to help you, to keep you out of hot water, because a lot of us, even in the product based side, a lot of us are making products that people ingest or put on their skin. And
Mhm.
the way this world is, with all these allergies and people
Yeah,
coming up with something new every day, like, it just pays to have an attorney on your team. It just does.
I agree. I definitely agree. And I think the other two people you mentioned are super important as well. As a business owner, I can practice the law, but that other stuff they didn't teach us in law school. So I'm a huge proponent of hiring those experts to take care of those specialized needs. Definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And so you said you're first generation. So I
Mhm.
know that your family is ecstatic.
Mhm.
I know they're
Definitely.
ecstatic. And then your son, and so now he becomes a part of mama's family business.
Yes. He's the boss. He's the
He's the,
boss.
I know he will be. I definitely know he will be. But yeah, but I want to thank you for your yes. I want to thank you for saying yes, that you come on and share with my audience. If you were to leave words of wisdom for the people who will see this either live or who may see it later, what would you like the takeaway to be?
Be yourself. Lean all the way in to yourself. Only care about what you think. Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. Don't be fearful, based on other people's perceptions or thoughts. Just focus on being your best self, and everything will fall into place.
I love it. I love it. That's great advice. That is
Thank
great
you.
advice. And I'm going to close us out. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. Thank
Hey.
you for joining us here. We're here every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Business Plugs Mixer. We're introducing you to new ideas and new concepts across the United States and the world. And so we're so glad that you joined us. And at this time, we'll see you next Sunday. So goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.